Barrasso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Greer, thanks so much for being here, and thanks so much for taking the time to visit in my office. As U.S. Trade Rep, you're going to be the tip of the sphere in advancing President Trump's pro-growth and pro-worker trade agreement agenda. You're going to be working to open up new markets for our nation, for our producers, including for Wyoming mining, Wyoming energy production, and for our farmers and ranchers. You'll also be protecting America's interests and fighting back against abusive trade practices from foreign adversaries that undermine U.S. industries and our critical supply chains. You have a big task in front of you, as we discussed. We're all counting on you, and I have no doubt that given your experience serving President Trump as Chief of Staff at the U.S. Trade Rep during his first term, that you're ready and you're equipped to lead the charge on behalf of the nation's trade agenda for this in his second term. In regard to market access, I know we all talk a lot about market access today. We also talk about market access when we met in my office. You know, I mentioned to you the importance of opening up new opportunities for the industries from my home state of Wyoming. We talked about how opening up markets in Japan for U.S. beef, that was a big win for Wyoming ranchers. Told you about how Wyoming is an energy powerhouse and the nation's energy breadbasket. Wyoming also plays a major part in the world providing abundant, affordable energy to our allies around the world. We also have huge mineral deposits in Wyoming, a mineral called trona, which is refined into soda ash, a basic chemical building block used in manufacturing lots and lots of products, including glass, detergent, pharmaceuticals, whether it's oil, natural gas, coal, critical minerals, and agriculture. Wyoming's economy, the U.S. economy, is going to greatly benefit as we export resources to new markets. So as U.S. Trade Rep, what types of emphasis are you going to place on opening up new markets for U.S. exporters and certainly for Wyoming producers?
Well, Senator, thank you for that, and I agree with you on the mineral wealth and other wealth that Wyoming has to share with the country and the rest of the world. I expect that going forward, we want to be in a position where our economy is very strong. So I don't think about trade policy as an end in itself, right? I think of trade policy as something that's going to result in higher wages and higher incomes for Americans and their families. And that means a lot of things. It means we need to make more here. It means we need to export more as well. You know, as everyone knows, I have concerns about the trade deficit. I think it's unsustainable and I think it's harmful, but there are several ways to get at it. One is by ensuring that there are unfair trade practices with imports, but another important way is by making sure that we have other markets where we can export our goods and services.
Could you add into it in terms of maybe how you would do it differently than what we saw the last 4 years under the Biden administration? I thought they felt way short in opening access to new markets.
Well, for me, Senator, it's of critical importance to, at a very early stage, and I hope the Office of the USTR has already started in this. It's very important at an early stage to figure out exactly what we want from these other countries. Sometimes I hear people say, let's do a deal. And I say, well, what's the deal? What's the deal that you want, right? So the more specificity that I can obtain, if I'm confirmed from our industries and from our workers about what kind of market access we need and where, it'll make my job all that much easier to be able to go in and go to these countries that have enjoyed market access to the United States for a very long time, but who maintain high tariff and non-tariff barriers, and say this is what we need and this is what we expect. And if you're going to continue to have good relations economically with the United States, we are going to expect access. And this isn't about muscling people or being a bully. It's about having fair and reciprocal access.
I want to talk about Mexico and USMCA commitments. So Mexico has repeatedly violated the historic United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. They were ruled by a dispute panel to be in violation of the USMCA with respect to U.S. corn. Mexico has taken hostile actions towards seizing assets of U.S. companies. An issue that I've weighed in on over the years has been Mexico's hostility toward U.S. energy companies. Mexico's previous president discriminated against U.S. energy producers, favoring his state-owned utilities and oil and gas companies. The Biden administration, I think, fell well short of fully protecting U.S. energy producers. And Biden's U.S. trade rep failed tremendously to make any meaningful progress. that's left great uncertainty, jeopardized lots and lots of money in U.S. investment. First, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record a bicameral letter that I led on the need to address this matter.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. And so the question is, going forward under the Trump administration and with Mexico's new president, who's now in office, how important it was going to be for you, U.S. Trade Rep, to help protect U.S. energy companies and their investments?
Senator, I share all of the concerns that you just laid out. American energy companies, we're the cleanest companies, our labor practices are good, our governance practices are excellent, and that's why our energy companies are partners of choice all over the world. And so I will expect at a very early stage to be able to go in and look at where the Mexicans have been discriminatory against us or taken unfair action or favored their state-owned industries over ours, where they have violated the USMCA, and to move forward. If it requires consultations, we'll do that. If it requires enforcement action, we'll do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.